Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we will be solving one more famous interview problem, that is valid parenthesis. So let's start the question first. So we have been given a string S containing just the characters, that is, these are the brackets given, or we can say the parenthesis, that is small bracket and curly bracket and big bracket. So we have to determine if the input string S is valid or not. So input string is valid if there are two conditions given. If the open brackets must be closed by the same type of brackets, that is, if small bracket is there, it should be closed with the small bracket only. And the second condition is open bracket must be closed in the correct order, that is, if it is opened first, then it should be closed first. Okay, I will explain you again in the dry run also, so do not worry, just go through this explanation part first. So every closed bracket has a corresponding open bracket of the same type. Suppose, for example, we have been given S is equals to this small bracket is there, and the closing small bracket is also there. So we can say this is valid parenthesis because as soon as it gets opened, it gets closes immediately. So the output we will return as true. Okay. In example 2, we can see in string S there are a small bracket, big bracket and curly bracket. So we have to tell whether this is the valid parenthesis or not. So basically we can see that as soon as the small bracket gets opened, it is getting closed afterwards immediately. Then the big bracket gets opened and it gets closed after that immediately. And then the curly bracket gets opened and similarly it gets closed afterwards. So output we will return as true. So many of you are there might be thinking like, what are these valid parentheses? So first of all, I will tell you about the parentheses. So these are the parentheses given. Basically these are the types of brackets. Okay, this is, we all know, this is this is small bracket, and this is curly bracket, and this one is big bracket. So we rules I already told you all. Like again I am telling you in much simpler manner, like, or we have to take for checking if the parenthesis is valid or not, we have to check the order first. Like if the string starts with small bracket, opening small bracket, it should be closed by the small bracket only. Similarly, if it start if it start with curly bracket, it must be closed by the curly bracket only. Okay. Apart from that, we also have nested groups. That is next, if the brackets can be nested inside each other. For example, a valid string might look like this. So you all can see, I will explain. So this is big bracket here and this is curly bracket. So as we saw that the first one was big bracket, so the first bracket should be like big bracket, and then curly bracket, then we have small bracket. So small bracket gets closes, then curly bracket gets closes, and the big bracket gets closes. Okay, in this case the inner brackets are properly closed first before the outer ones. So this was the nested parenthesis basically. An empty string that is considered valid because it contains no mismatched or unpaired brackets. So for solving this type of question, we generally use the stack approach. What we will do is basically, concept is quite simple. We will take a stack to keep track of expected closing brackets. Okay, we will traverse through this input. We can say it a string in the form of string. These are the input. And if suppose if it is open bracket, like here, if it is an open bracket, definitely it is an open bracket, then what we will do is basically we will push the expected closing bracket of the same type. Okay, suppose this is open bracket, this is small open bracket, then we will push the closing small bracket into the stack. Okay, and if it's a closing bracket, if the stack is empty, we will straight away return false. And if the top of the stack is not expected closing bracket, then we will return false. Otherwise we will pop the stack since we found a valid matching pair. and after the loop we will check if the stack is empty. After the if the we found the stack is empty, we got the valid parenthesis, so we will return true. And if the stack is not empty, that means we have invalid parenthesis, we will return false. Do not worry regarding the approach I discussed. I will dry run it for you so that you can understand it in much simpler manner. Okay, so first of all we have example 1. Like we have one small bracket, that is opening small and the closing small. So in the stack what it is happening is basically in step 1 the character we have that opening small bracket. Okay, so what we will do is, if we have opening small bracket, so as I told you in the approach as well, what we will do is basically we will push the closing small bracket. We have to see the type of the bracket, and if we have opening small bracket, we will simply push the closing small bracket. So the stack content will become, as we have pushed this closing small bracket, so stack content will become closing bracket, that is small closing bracket. And in step 2 we have character as closing small bracket. So what we can observe is in the stack content is also opening close bracket, and the character is also now opening close bracket, closing small bracket. Okay, so which matches the top of the stack. Second character matches the top of the stack, that is this one. Okay, so we will do, we will just pop the current character and the stack will become empty. So if the stack becomes empty, we will return true. That means the string is valid because we have only one opening bracket and the one closing bracket. This was the only concept required to code this solution. Let's see a bit bigger example to understand it in much more easy manner. Suppose we have string s is equals to this bracket. Please go through this input string. You will get it. It's quite simple. So step 1 we saw it's a opening small bracket, right? Okay. So what we will do? We will push the closing small bracket in the stack. Okay. So the stack content will become this closing small bracket. In the next pass, in step 2 we can see that we have closing small bracket here. So what we need to do is we have to check, like if the stack top is same as this one, which is, as we know, it is same, that stack content and the second character is same. So what we will do, we will simply pop the current character, so the stack will become empty. Okay, so next time we have opening big bracket, so what we will do, we have to do opposite of this, like we have to push the closing big bracket, that I have done here, and the stack content will become closing big bracket, right? Then we can again see, like if the next character is closing big bracket, so we will compare with the stack top, that is here. Stack top is same as the present character, so we will simply pop this character from the stack and the stack will become empty. Till here we can see that stack is empty. So till here the string is balanced, like brackets are all balanced, they are empty, so we can say that. And at last we have curly bracket, opening curly bracket, so we will push closing curly bracket here and the stack content will become this. So this is also called as the stack top. We will compare again with this character, since this is the closing curly bracket and the closing curly bracket over here, that is stack top, is matching with this, so we will straight away pop this and stack will become again empty. So this depicts that the final stack is empty, so we can return true, and we can also say that the string is valid and these are the valid parentheses. So I hope the approach you all guys can get it. It's so simple. So let's go through the code once so that you can relate the approach I'm telling. So basically we have initiated the stack to store the closing brackets for matching. Okay, so after that we have iterated through each character in the input string. We have used the for loop, and there is we have used the conditions. If an open bracket is found, we will push its corresponding closing bracket into the stack. Okay, suppose if character equal to this small bracket, opening small bracket, so as simple, like we will push the closing small bracket. Okay, else if we have the opening curly bracket, we will simply push the closing curly bracket. Apart from this, if we have the open, if we have open big bracket, we will simply push the close big bracket. So if the closing bracket is found, we will check if it the matches the expected closing bracket or not. Okay, and apart from all these conditions, we have to also see the very edge cases, like if the stack is empty or stack dot top is not equal to the character, so that means that brackets are not balanced, so we will return false. Okay, and apart from that, if this is basically this condition is for checking the invalid if stack is empty, okay, or top doesn't match, or else if it matches, we will pop the element from the stack. As I told you in the dry run itself, we will pop the top element from the stack, and if the stack is empty at the end, the string is valid, otherwise it's not. Okay, so this was all the solution. Let's discuss the time complexity and space complexity quickly. So it is quite simple. We are iterate time complexity will be O of n only. We iterate through the string once, so O of n, and each character is processed in constant time, that is O of 1. Stack operations push and pop will take O of 1 of time, that is constant, and the total complexity, time complexity, will become O of n, where n is the length of the string. Space complexity is also O of n. In the worst case, all opening brackets are pushed into the stack requiring O of n space, and in the best case, like only a few elements are stored in the stack leading to constant space. However, the worst case, the space complexity is still O of n. I hope you all get the solution. If you understood the solution, please hit the like button and share it with other students as well. Thank you.